I'm here with Dr. Kent Mathewson from Louisiana State University, and you are a anthropologist, geographer who's coming to work on Nevis, been spending the last couple of weeks on Nevis, doing some work on landscape, landform, how it's changed over time, agricultural usage. What brought you to Nevis?
Well, thank you, Paul. Yes, this is my first time in the Caribbean. My work in the past has been in Latin America, principally Central America and South America, working on traditional agriculture, and, for example, in Guatemala, very intensive systems the Maya cultivate with terracing, irrigation of raised bed, gardening, and also in Ecuador, in lowland, riverine, flooded savanna environments.
Quite different environment here, though, with heavy sugar and cultivation and cottons and things like that.
Exactly, legacy. So, what brings me to Nevis actually is a small grant from the American Geographical Society, and they have launched the Bowman expeditions. This is harkening back to a century ago, when they were able to field a lot of researchers, especially in Latin America, and this is an attempt to resuscitate that tradition. I was invited to basically choose a location in the Leeward Islands and focus on a topic of my interest. My interest being traditional agriculture. Then I searched around the literature and decided that Nevis might be the most promising location to do a survey, basically a survey here and now, although my interest is cultural and historical and geography, here and now, to see to what extent local food production is being done here now.
Yeah, it has been pretty quiet local agriculture-wise recently. The government has just launched an initiative to try and bring it back up again, because of course you know that back in 1971 there was a ferry disaster and it killed off basically all the island's farmers. So Nevis went from being a net exporter of farm goods and produce to having virtually no agriculture overnight. So it's quite an interesting, cultural, sociological, facet or fact.
Absolutely, yeah. That was when we were talking earlier, you asked me what was perhaps the biggest surprise in the research so far. And I would have to say that this unfortunate event of August 1st, 1970, I think it was, 1970, any number of people have mentioned that as really the really significant decline in the tradition of home gardening, or as it's called here, backyard gardening, smallholder, dooryard gardening. There are a number of terms within the geographical and anthropological literature that refer to these small-scale practices. I'm certainly interested in that, because that often becomes actually a laboratory of experimentation, one might say uncredentialed experimentation by farmers themselves, and their theories of agricultural origins really often posit in the New World that it was the backyard garden or the home garden, especially with women's experimentation, that led to the domestication of many of our cultivated plants. But again, I'm interested in, with one of my students, Russell Fielding, who was here. We've been here since mid-June, and he has been focusing on the fishing production, artisanal fishery. But we have, with the really splendid cooperation, really, of everyone that we've encountered, especially the officers in the Department of Agriculture, the Extension Division, under Dr. Daly and Walcott James, and some of their agents, we were able to do a very rapid survey of all the, at least known to them, farms and agricultural plots that are producing enough to send some to the market. And we hope to produce a map from this, also GIS map, and then I will work on publications that will focus on this as a baseline, the present condition and see if I can't reconstruct this history, this historical geography, this landscape change, this land use change over time.
Well, we're also working on a project. The NHCS is working on a project that might tie in well with your research, and that's the Nevis Oral History and Patrimony Project, where we're going to be videotaping over the next several years, actually, the oldest members of society, and asking them about what life was like on Nevis back in maybe the 20s, 30s, 40s, so we can find out what kind of agriculture.
Absolutely.
Was there crops that grew back then that they don't grow now?
Absolutely, yeah. And maybe someone was an innovator. Maybe someone moved from Jamaica and brought ackee fruit. There seems to be a little bit of that. It's a real marker of Africanness. Of course, there are a number of plants or cultigens that can be traced back to Africa, as well as obviously from mainland South America, Latin America. That would be very good. But this oral knowledge, this oral history will really, I think you're right, be the way to infill the rather dry and incomplete statistics I'm finding in the colonial sources about what was being grown.
So will you be coming back next year?
Well, there are no concrete plans for that, but I've had a wonderful time, so I think I may try to devise a way to return.
Most people, when they come down to Nevis, they end up coming back one way or another.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and look for on our new YouTube channel soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.